Please welcome Gary Rogers, Chairman of the Bay Area Council Hall of Fame Selection Committee.
Boy, I wish all of you could see this view. It's really quite amazing. It's great to see such support for the Bay Area Council. I tell you, it's a wonderful thing. And welcome to all of you. So tonight we're here to honor two of the very big names in business, both of whom have personified the achievement of those aspirations. Both of these people also epitomize the power and spirit of partnership, collaboration, and teamwork. And they were good friends with each other. Both of them clearly belong in the Hall of Fame. And I'm now pleased to introduce Jeff Henley, the chairman of Oracle, to introduce our first honoree. Jeff?
It's my pleasure to introduce Larry Ellison this evening. As was mentioned, the Bay Area is truly blessed to have had so many outstanding leaders over the decades. And in my opinion, Larry deserves to be ranked with a handful of those leaders at the very top of the list, along with Steve Jobs, of course. Since founding Oracle 35 years ago, Larry has been its only CEO, and with the help of various management teams over the years, he has successfully evolved Oracle through several technology eras to become the huge global company it is today, with revenues approaching $40 billion, 120,000 employees, and with $5 billion in annual R&D spending. We're convinced the best is yet to come. I've worked with Larry for more than 22 years, and so I have a fairly long time with him and an ability to observe what's made Larry so successful. So I'll offer a partial list. I would say first, Larry's the smartest individual I've ever worked with. Beyond his command of technology, he's a terrific strategist and marketer. In fact, these are the three areas that Larry has primarily focused on through his years at Oracle. Second, Larry is constantly challenging conventional wisdom. There was a quote from Larry in tonight's program, which I thought was terrific, and it epitomizes Larry. But years ago, he predicted that client-server technology that we and others sold at the time was too expensive and he proved to be right. About the same time, he felt like PCs would ultimately be de-emphasized in favor of simpler, what he called in those days, network computers. Today we call them tablets, smartphones. Larry is always kind of trying to figure out what's wrong with conventional wisdom. Right now, conventional wisdom in our industry is that virtualized server blades and disk drives sold from a variety of different suppliers and put all together are the cheapest architecture for data centers. Larry believes that engineered appliances sold from a single vendor, that would be Oracle, will prove to not only offer the best performance, but also the lowest total cost of ownership. So stay tuned. We'll see how this plays out in the coming years. Third, Larry is an incredible communicator. He has the ability to take very complicated technical messages and make them easy to understand, both inside and outside Oracle. Fourth, Larry believes in staying the course, so long as he thinks that that's still the right course, obviously, and even if it takes a long, long time, many years. Good example would be Oracle's multi-billion-dollar investment, which has started nearly 8 years ago, to build a complete next generation of modern cloud-based applications. Today, Oracle has the broadest offering in the industry for ERP, human resources, and customer experience, as well as a technology platform as a service as well. So fifth, Larry has a terrific sarcastic sense of humor. Oracle's board meetings, analyst meetings, management meetings are a lot of fun to be a part of. They pay me to do this. They pay me to go to these things. It's great. So doing amazing things, competing, winning, having fun, they're contagious. Coming back to win against the New Zealand team at the recent America's Cup. After being down 8-1 is a testimony to Larry's never give up determination. So we're going to do a short video, and then I'd like to have Larry come up on the stage. Thank you.
You can't conform in business. You have to be very careful. The only way, if you adhere to conventional wisdom, if you do everything everyone else does in business, you're going to lose.
It's why Larry Ellison pursues the unbeaten path in his personal and professional lives. This philosophy has propelled him to international prominence as one of the most successful and influential business people in the world. He's the founder and CEO of Oracle Corporation, a company that today generates $37 billion a year and continues to change the face of business computing, as well as the Bay Area economy.
This city really has got a historic relationship with Oracle that's second to none. There's an interdependence between the success of this city, I think, and the success of a company like Oracle.
Oracle's success and its reputation as a leader in its industry around the world really signifies the success of Bay Area's technology economy.
Today, Oracle employs more than 120,000 people around the globe, nearly 15,000 in the Bay Area alone. For 30 years, the company has produced both products and personnel that have shaped the way IT impacts our world. Locally, Oracle is changing lives through its corporate giving programs. This year, the company will donate more than $5 million to support Bay Area schools, science, and technological institutes. Ellison arrived in the Bay Area from Chicago in his early 20s. He was nearly penniless. He held various jobs for 8 years, winding up as a programmer at a company called Ampex. In 1977, Ellison and two Ampex colleagues broke away and founded Software Development Labs, where they became increasingly intrigued by a description of a working prototype for a relational database. Ellison's early decision to focus on this technology was informed and methodical, which colleagues say reflects how he makes business decisions today.
Larry is very thoughtful and reflective person. He spends a lot of time talking to people and asking questions, reading, doing a lot of research on his own, and he takes all that information and synthesizes it into decisions. He's often perceived as making these very significant intuitive leaps, but it's almost always actually information driven and rationally derived.
The partners commercialized the technology, winning a contract to build a relational database management system for the CIA, codename Oracle. 3 years later, IBM adopted Ellison's mainframe systems, transforming Ellison's million-dollar company to a billion-dollar enterprise, which he renamed Oracle Corporation in 1982. In 1989, Ellison moved his headquarters to Redwood Shores, which has since served as an epicenter of technological innovation, thanks to Ellison's innate curiosity and passion for research and development. Oracle's R&D budget tops $5 billion a year. And when products are discussed, Ellison is at the table.
We meet as a senior management team multiple times a week to review product development issues. Now, that's not true at most large companies. I mean, most large companies do not have a CEO who is involved day to day with product development decisions.
In 1982, Ellison decided to close the gap between the people who made Oracle products and those who use them by hosting the first International Users Conference at a San Francisco hotel. Today, that conference is known around the globe as Oracle Open World, drawing in this past year more than 60,000 people to San Francisco's Moscone Center.
In the aggregate, there's about $120 million annual economic benefit, funds flowing into our communities through Oracle World alone.
Ellison brought more attention to the Bay Area by bringing the America's Cup to American shores for the first time since 1995. He focused his efforts on ways to make the sport accessible to thousands of Bay Area spectators.
In the past, you had to get on a charter boat and go 20 miles offshore to the ocean and float around and see boats floating in the middle of nowhere. This brought it into an amphitheater in the center of one of the great metropolitan regions of the United States, where anybody could see it for free.
The San Francisco Bay became the backdrop for an exciting battle between Oracle Team USA and New Zealand. In a dramatic comeback, Oracle captured the cup. But some say the Bay Area may have been a bigger winner.
Hotels were taking in people who wouldn't have come. Restaurants were filling up with people who wouldn't have come. And there was tremendous exposure for San Francisco and the Bay Area just by TV. Worldwide audiences were watching. What free advertising?
In spite of this recent victory, Ellison maintains that it's his business that truly inspires him. The larger prize resides at Redwood Shores.
A bigger race and a more exciting race is the one that Oracle's in.
What Larry really likes to do is he likes to compete and win. And every day at Oracle, there's some new way in which he can find a way to compete and win. There's problems to solve every day. And I think that is a great source of satisfaction for him.
And a great benefit to the Bay Area, where Larry Ellison's drive and ingenuity continue to transform our lives and our region.
My sister once said to me that whenever I got too close to one of my goals, I immediately moved the goalposts further away. And I think in business, you can always do more.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Got a standing ovation, Larry. As we just saw in that video, your accomplishments are nothing short of legendary. Whatever you do, you figure out a way to win, and you're an inspiration to all of us. And it's with great pride and humility that we induct you into the Bay Area Business Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Thank you. I'll hold this until you're done.
I'd like to thank you very much for this very, very generous award, and I'm and that startling film is, wow. I'm not going to talk about me tonight. I'm going to talk about the other inductee, who is my best friend. So he couldn't be with us tonight, so I'm going to do my very best to stand in and talk about Steve Jobs. They say that no one is irreplaceable. I don't believe that. Not anymore. Steve Jobs is irreplaceable. The irreplaceable creative genius of our generation. He was our Edison, our Picasso. We watch, listen to, and use the products of his mind every day and everywhere. He was unique. At once a sublimely inspired philosopher, artist, and inventor. A relentlessly determined entrepreneur, engineer, and leader. An intensely focused singularity that translated ideas into things that worked. In doing so, he reinvented entire industries: computing and communications, music and the movies, all done in one too short lifetime. But that's not all he did. That's just the visible light portion of Steve's spectrum. He played other less visible roles: father, husband, and my best friend. In each and every one of those roles, he is irreplaceable. My 25-year friendship with Steve was made up of 1,000 walks. If there was something to talk about, and there always was something he wanted to talk about, we'd go for a walk. We'd climb to the top of Windy Hill, hike around Castle Rock, or through the sand on the beach at Kona Village. More recently, our walks grew shorter. North on Waverly and Palo Alto, a few blocks, and then back home. Over the years, one particular walk stands out. We had a lot to talk about that day, so we jumped in the car, put the top down, and headed out to Castle Rock State Park in the Santa Cruz Mountains. It was back in mid-1995. Steve was finishing up Toy Story at Pixar and running Next, the computer company he founded after he left Apple. Apple was in severe distress. It had gone steadily downhill during the 10 years of Steve's absence. The problems were now so serious, people were wondering if Apple would survive. It was too painful to watch and stand by and do nothing. So the purpose of that particular hike through the Santa Cruz Mountains on that particular day was to discuss taking control of Apple. My idea was simple. Let's buy Apple. And immediately make you, Steve, CEO. I knew we could borrow the money. Apple actually wasn't worth very much back in those days. All Steve had to do was say yes. Steve favored a somewhat more complex approach. Persuade Apple to buy Next Computer. He'd join the Apple board, and over time, the board would recognize Steve was the right guy to lead the company. I said, okay. I mean, that might work. But Steve, if we don't buy Apple, how are we going to make any money? Steve suddenly stopped walking and turned toward me until we're facing each other, and he then put his left hand on my right shoulder and his right hand on my left shoulder and stared unblinkingly into my eyes. "Larry," he said, "this is why it's so important I'm your friend. You don't need any more money." I said, "Yeah, I know. But we don't have to keep it. We could give it away." Steve just shook his head and said, "I'm not doing this for money. I don't want to get paid. If I do this, I need to do this standing on the high moral ground." "The high moral ground," I said. "Well, that just might be the most expensive real estate on the planet." But I knew I had lost the argument. Steve had made up his mind right then and there at Castle Rock in the summer of 1995 to save Apple his way. At the end of the hike, right before we got back into the car, I said, "Steve, you created Apple. It's your call. I'll do whatever you want me to do. The rest, as they say, is history." The iMac, sorry, no beige. iPod, iTunes, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Think different. iPhone, iPad. And for a moment, the most valuable company on the planet Earth. Imagine that. While it made Steve proud, it wasn't even one of his goals. Like the ancient Greeks during the age of Pericles, Steve pursued truth and beauty and an impossible perfection in what he built and how he lived. One last story, personal story. Steve had this peculiar, delightful sense of humor and a trademark muffled laugh to go along with it. After work, we'd often go out to our favorite local Japanese or Indian restaurant, and sometimes we'd go away together on holiday to Kona Village on the big island of Hawaii. All four of us would be there in Kona. Steve, his wife Lorraine, me, and whoever I was married to or dating at the time. It's true. Anyway, we'd be in the middle of a dinner conversation, all of us. And suddenly, there'd be this quiet laughter coming from Steve, lost in his own amusing thoughts. All three of us would stop talking, turn, look at him. Eventually, one of us would ask, "Steve, what's so funny?" Steve would try to tell us. But each time he tried to speak, he could only get out a couple of words before he'd stop, slowly look down at the table again, and start laughing again. This would happen over and over and over until we all started laughing, never having the slightest idea what Steve found so funny in the first place. Believe it or not, this happened a lot. Those moments are my most cherished and enduring memories of my time with Steve. All four of us sitting together at Kona, eating papayas, and laughing for no reason at all. I'll miss those times, and I'm so very, very sorry that Steve was unable to be with us here this evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Larry Baer, President and CEO of the San Francisco Giants.
That was remarkable, Larry. I want to turn a little bit of attention back to you for a moment. In just a moment, those of you who are Giants fans know that for the Giants to remain in San Francisco, the Giants needed to build a new ballpark. And in order to build a new ballpark, the Giants had to do it privately. And in order to do it privately, the Giants had to have partnerships in the community. And at the beginning of the quest, this man and his company got behind the Giants, created a partnership, helped create Pac Bell Park with us. And we thought it would be a perfect occasion on his induction to the Business Hall of Fame, Bay Area Business Hall of Fame, because what would the Bay Area be without its teams, to present Larry with something that's rather subtle, a 2012 World Series Players Ring.
What Larry didn't mention, I did bat .285 and come in second in the Golden Glove voting for second base that year. So thought I'd point that out. I mean, I just don't mean to. We'll sign you. Thank you very much. You've been extremely kind to me this evening. I really appreciate it. Thank you.